Okay, YouTube, this is Dr. Wanda, and I am sitting here with my little friend, and her name is Lumpy. And I named her Lumpy because her whole neck has swollen up where she could barely turn her head. This whole thing was swollen, and I was trying to find a veterinarian. And Isaac said he knew someone, but then he was dragging his feet. And in general, animals in Ghana free roam. So this is one of the puppies from a dog over here in this community. Her name is Precious, that free roam. So this is like her third litter. And, but this is the first one that we've really gotten close to. So I looked at her neck. I said, listen, this is, I looked it up on Google, and it said that it was caused by the salivary glands getting full and not releasing, or it also could be just something with an infection in the lymph nodes. So I said, that's all solvable, but it's like with babies, you have to get on things. Babies and old folks, when things start going wrong with them, you have to move quick. So Isaac was dragging his feet and this and that, and they couldn't find it, and then they didn't know, and it's like, oh. So there is a pretty well-known veterinarian place. I think it's like in Community 11. And so I was going to take her, and before I could do it, actually the lump, they went out there and you can see the lump burst. And so all of that fluid was oozing out and it came out. So I told him, she's open. And I actually had thought maybe the lady across the street that's the owner of the mother, I thought maybe she had lanced it, that she had went and just on her own, tried to be a doctor, a surgeon at that. But it turns out it popped. So it's open, and I have, besides wiping it every day with sort of like a disinfectant wipe, because I told him, I said, it's a puppy. So a lot of these strong things, just like with babies, can't be used. I just been patting it, cleaning, and putting some of my Joy ointment on there. Baby, and it turns out that Joy ointment heals. So I've been calling her Lumpy. Gia calls her Lumpy. Isaac calls her Lumpy. When you start naming them, they belong to you, okay? So this is little Lumpy. What I want to talk to you about, I hadn't talked to you since the last time I gave you the update on the water. And what I want to tell you is, thanks to Sabrina Peden and D'Angela Pryor, shout out to both, the water hasn't stopped. So I was able to get another truck of water sent to Lilonia. And that went to a church that actually services primarily the lame, the shut-in, the elderly, people who have a difficulty getting to the main reservoir will come to this church. And so we were able to fill that with 12,000 gallons of water. And to speak to how serious it is, like, it was interesting, like the other distributions, it was this big rush and lots of people and lots of noise and blah, blah. This was slow motion, but very fulfilling, very rewarding, and very revealing. And one of the things that stood out to me was this young girl who came up. She couldn't have been no more than like 8. She came up on a 4-walker with her yellow bucket to container to get water. And she was just as joyous to set hers down so that it could be filled and she could carry it back. And so I told Isaac, I said, look how serious this is. Look how important this is. What is going on in that family? What's going on in that home with the parents, with the adults, that a child who is on a 4-walker comes forward walking to get water? That's a lot to know. One thing I learned, even as an educator, as a counselor, don't ask questions you don't want to know. If you don't want to know, don't ask it, because Lord knows there's going to be an answer, okay? But I'm curious. And she was very inspirational for me. I said, now that's some hard, because, I probably would have protested. You see, I got this 4-walker, let Billy Bob do it. Baby, she took her time. She hit the clunk, clunk, rest, clunk, clunk, rest, clunk, clunk. Next thing you know, she was there. So It's a lot to learn about these water challenges and what they bring to various communities and the joy they get when they get it relieved. But I'm not seeing that epiphany. I want that light bulb. I want that epiphany to go off. We can do this together. No? Let's see what comes of it, but still I'm joyous for even having been used to even alleviate a little bit of that pressure. So that's going on. Now, you know I have Wonderland Zambia. I don't talk about it very much, but there is a group that I am connected to, I'm bonded with. It's a school in Zambia, and I send curriculum there. They do the various activities. It's primarily for the girls. And it's for the girls because it was the girls' teacher, Sylvia, who I became connected with. She was watching some of the things I posted when I was working very heavily with the Ghanaian girls, and she began to mimic them. So I loved her heart. You know, I love a teacher's heart. When it's authentic, it's nothing like it. So I began to send her not only the lesson that I was covering, but I would send her a little bit of a budget, no more than like $15, $20 each week, to make sure that she could get all the little accessories or markers or whatever little stuff that we needed to do the activity. Because here, when I want to do something, I sponsor my own stuff. So that worked out pretty well. Well, there's one girl among Wonderland Zambia, and her name is Rodah. And I love all the girls, but I love me some Rodah. So there's always it's one, okay? And if teachers are honest, you know, they tell us to be fair and all kids are the same and treated. We always have a pet. We have somebody that we crazy about, that we make huge space in our heart for, and that person for me is Rodah. So it turns out that my partner teacher began to tell me that Rodah may have to leave the school. And I'm like, why? You know, so Rodah was set to leave the school because Rodah's father came home and with another woman and told Rodah's mother that he didn't want her as a wife anymore, that he was replacing her. So this completely shattered the home. So it wasn't until I requested that she have a meeting to find out what's going on there, because I was looking at Rodah and she went from looking like a 10-year-old to looking like, you know, she was in her 60s. It just looked broke. What's going on here? This man had the balls, the mitigated balls, to come home and tell his wife he didn't want her, and the woman came with him, and yeah, it was over. So this completely broke her mother's spirit. The mother had been gone for like close to 2 weeks, a month, and Rodah was left with the father and an uncle, and I think there's another elder male in the home. Listen, girl children are not safe in a home full of men. Okay, I don't care how nice they are. It's not a good arrangement. It's best to have some female energy, some female wisdom there. So I didn't like that. So I said, what's going on with the mom? Has she abandoned the girl? What's going on? Okay, so it turns out she just had to get air. You know, like she couldn't excel. She was over the top over this, and completely hurt. They have 4 children together, and of course Rodah is a part of Wonderland Zambia. I told Sylvia, I said, have a meeting with the mom. Let's see what we can do to sustain. So I had asked, what does it cost to have an apartment in Zambia? And so for a large one room, self-contained, is $17 a month. No electric. If you want the same, oh, come on. If you want the same apartment with electric, it's $30 a month. So I said, how is she living now? It turns out that Rodah was living without electricity. So I said, well, $30, I'm gonna write that in as a bill. I'm gonna treat it like it's my phone bill or it's extra meat or whatever. And let's get her and the daughter stable, and so that she can stay at the school, because she's thriving. She has good grades. She got some incredible award she won. I said, no, let's keep her at the school. Let's try our hardest. So talk to the mom and see what she says. Had the meeting. The mom declined. And she declined because she said she could not stay there in that community with the man that had broken her heart. She couldn't do it. And she needed time for healing. Now, I'm a whole woman. I'm a woman before I am anything, and I completely understood her plight, okay? So I asked Sylvia, Sylvia said we would absorb her. We can absorb her, but she needs certain things. She needs a bed, she needs some toiletries, etc. Okay, let's get that done. So I sent them some money in order to get the bed, to get her her blanket, her toiletries, so that she could stay there. I said, only if this is okay with the mom. Because there's something about being wounded in these relationships where sometimes you need your children near you to even feel whole for some reason. Not that the children solve, because they don't, but they most certainly don't make anything worse unless they already were problem children. So yeah, Rodah has moved in with the teacher and her husband. The complicated part about that is they are living in half of the school. So they have a sheet that separates one portion of the school, and they teach on one side, and they pretty much cohabitate on the other side. So at this juncture, I can't do nothing about that. But what I can do is make sure that Rodah isn't a burden on them. So I sent them a nice amount of funds, you know, simple enough that they could manage and get all of her things. And when you're dealing with good stewardship, when you're dealing with, you know, upstanding Africans, every move they make, they send you a picture of the item, they send you a receipt, they always include you in the process. So she's there. I think about being a black woman in America. I am, this is my fourth marriage. I've been married 3 other times. I do take marriage serious, but I take my soul, my whether or not you're going to mistreat me. Like, I'm not a woman that ever believed that I was here to be abused. I've never believed that I'm supposed to sign up and bend over and you kick me and I hop. I've never believed that. And when I see any signs of that, whether it's physical abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, then, you know, that warrior in me, because I have a very Joshua spirit, that warrior in me shows up. And so I felt so blessed to be the woman I am, coming from the type of women I was raised by, and men. Because I can tell you, for every abuse that's ever happened to me, and I am not exempt, I have been through it all. It has actually been men, good, upstanding men, loving men, you know, righteous men who have helped me heal. You know, they give you help, you know, hope that there are, you know, good guys out here. And I know they're wonderful guys out here because I've met their mothers. I've met their fathers. You know, everyone isn't raised to go home and bring a woman home and destroy families. But there most certainly are a certain set of us that don't mind crushing. We don't mind crushing human spirits. So dealing with Rodah's mother, and she had to have a translator, and she spoke to me to let me know that she appreciated me, and she thanked me for taking up and at least allowing Rodah to have more. And she said she would like to come back at a later date, if the offer still stood, to take me up on the offer, you know, when she felt like she was far more healed, that she would like to come back. And I am slowly, with my little 5s and 2s and 3s, setting money aside for when she does. Because $17 a month is not that much, and $30 most certainly isn't. And I am adamant that, you know, God will provide some way or another. You just, when you think you can't make something happen, you can make something happen. So I'm speaking life into that situation. I check on her, but I recently talked to Rodah. We was able to FaceTime, and it was just beautiful seeing a 10-year-old girl again. You know, because when the pictures that I got of the conference and how she was in school, even when I looked at her hair, I asked her, Sylvia, what's going on with her hair? She looked like Phyllis Diller or you know, it looked like she stuck her finger in a socket. And it was just standing all up off her. What is going on? That's when I got the information that I got. So, this is the second time I've dealt with a scenario like this. The first time was in Uganda. A woman whose husband came home and told her he didn't want her, brought the woman with her, and she left. I mean, I don't want you as a wife. She didn't have no choice but to leave. And she was struggling, and she sold, and she sold, and she sold, and she sold, and she got just enough money to make herself like a little bit of a shanty house. And I had the opportunity to sit in the house. The outside of the house looked like hell on wheels. The inside of the house was very much a home. It was neat, it was clean, it was, you know, she was working her little space. So what she shared with me was she had began to thrive again, and he was jealous, and he sent someone to steal her sewing machine. And I shared about the story. As I was leaving Uganda, I highlighted each woman who had been my teacher. And her name was Nulu, and I told her story. And it was two sisters over in the U.S. And when I tell you they got pissed, they got pissed. That's such and so, and that dirty dog, and blah, blah, blah. But to make a long story short, by the end of it, we all came together and we got the money together to get her a new sewing machine, better than the one that she had had. And we got her all of the stuff she needed to start, needles and thread, a little bit of cloth. So she got her life back. She was like, because she knew she was a hustler. She knew how to work and take care of herself. So that was the first time I heard of that idea where you walk home with the woman and tell somebody what you don't want. But yeah, it does happen in Africa. It is something that happens relationally in Africa, that when that patriarchal system is in air, when that pendulum swings too far the other way, you do get those type of stories. And you know, you have to be among the people and know people intimately to find out what's going on, and then decide if you want to get involved in that. Now, I'm not involved in that relationship. I'm involved with the child. I was always involved with her child. Me and her child bonded from day one. From the time I started sending stuff and she saw my picture, we bonded. So Rodah is mine. She is my gift daughter. That's how I see her. I will see about her as long as I can see about her. Her needs for me, for my life, for my budget, for my lifestyle are simple. Just school fees. She's 10, you know, so there's not a lot that she needs. She needs her hair plaited every month, every other week, something like that. She needs to keep her toiletries up, and we need to take care of some food. And so I had them, you know, I made sure that they were padded for that, and I'm looking forward to that. You know, God will take a golden heart and squeeze so much in it. And I want to tell you, I don't love this girl. I do. I've never met her, but, you know, he told us we're flesh and spirit. And when I tell you that spirit can cross so many lines and make so many connections if it's open and it's not wounded. Look at Lumpy. Look at Lumpy. It's a beautiful thing. So I got a new love, and I'm looking forward to all this new depositing into her life. And I got me a new little animal love too. Look at Lumpy. Lumpy want to go. Ooh, Lumpy want to go to sleep. Well, let me let you go, because I want to put Lumpy back with her mama so she can nurse her way down. And I think that's all I wanted to tell you. Oh, last thing. My son, Langston Kerman, this is my eldest, my firstborn, my only son. His premiere is today. If it's March 10th, his premiere is today on Peacock. That is, I guess it's the internet version of I think it's NBC. It's either NBC or CBS. And yeah, he's premiering. His show is coming out this evening, and it's called The Bust Down. And so I would love it if you would support my son, The Bust Down, Peacock. Langston Kerman, he is a creator, a writer, and a comedic actor on this project. Just a proud mama moment. And I'm signing off.